Hello and welcome. Thank you for scanning the code because that's probably the only reason you got here is by one of these handed to you by some crazy guy trying to embody the animal, the shaman, the beast, to be a walking symbol of the sacred and our ancestors. This is a battle cry. This is not a typical fundraiser or nonprofit. This is about striking at the heart of what is causing the misery, anxiety, depression, suicide, self-harm, and just isolation of our young men in this world. This is a very, very, very personal vision to me that has coincidences, experiences, intricacies that I could talk about endlessly. And I am fascinated by the human being and could talk about psychology, mythology, philosophy, neuroscience, sociology, anything that's to do with the human forever. And in particular, manhood. The reason the arena is for men is because I'm a man. So it has to start there. I hope that arenas are built. The long-term vision is that many, many, many arenas are built. But it will start in the real world because that is the essence of the arena. At first, it will start with these QR codes for enough fundraising to build a portable, sacred place. Where are all the sacred? They don't exist. I just have to stop and mourn. Whenever I think about it, it hurts like straight through me. Like just getting shot through the friggin' heart. Churches once represented this, but churches lost their way. We all know this. And that's another thing too. The misunderstanding of mythology and religion. This was the best our ancestors could do for us. It was made with love and the intention of helping guide us through this ridiculous mystery we call life. And it's only through metaphor, that language, that we can speak of our consciousness, the emotions, what it means to be human, the hows and the whys, the origin of life itself, the possibilities after death, which science can't even wave a finger at. Every theory is just miles, eons away. And my belief is that might be intentional. Just maybe. I actually learned something. I'm going to try not to go off on any tangents right now and just get right to the meat and bones because I just keep making. This is like the 900th video I've made. The effort and blood and sweat I'm going to put into this is never going to stop. And that's what I'm showing by going to the streets in costume as a symbol to hand out the cards. And they're made by hand. Each one takes me some or a couple minutes. Some take me 10 minutes to make just one of these. And that's how important they are. I have worked my entire life. This is the whole reason it's personal to me. I lost my father at the age of 12. I had 3 brothers at the time. My mother had to go back to school and work. I was abandoned out of necessity. No one chose. My father didn't choose to die. My mother had no choice but to go back to school and work. My brothers and I none of us were leaders. My dad was amazing. He lives through me. I know that because I'm a father now to an 8-year-old boy. And I was basically after his death, took me about a year, but I realized through the boundaries that were set, and it was the disappointment. You don't want to disappoint your father, especially when you love him, especially my father who played not just, he walked that perfect line of what parenthood is especially for a father, discipline and love. Leaning more towards discipline. Discipline is the best love you can give, and not just mean, angry discipline, but understanding why. My son loves to tell me, I explain every single time in depth of why he's being punished, for what reason, and why. And he complains to me all the time. My partner of 12 years will just say, because I said so, and that drives him nuts, just like it did me when I was a young man, and my mom would say something like that because they want to understand. So this is for my son, for my dad, for all the kids that I worked with in nonprofit for those 3 to 4 years. 10 years ago, this seed was planted because I worked with kids who I could see myself in them, that hunger. Because when I got sober, through consequences, death spared me. I have no answer to why. All I can do is be grateful that I'm still here. My friends used to joke when I was a teenager because of how crazy and reckless I was. And that was a thing too. It's always been in me to be a guardian, a protector. My first dream was to be in like the FBI and hunt serial killers. That was like my original career. I actually went to college to try and do that, but then I started getting a little too much trouble. No job I've ever wanted. This is experience and also just who I am. A teacher, a coach, someone who loves being a father, especially because I know what it feels like and what happens when you don't. So 10 years of just wearing a shield, of a monstrous shield. I was a very skinny kid. I started doing steroids, drinking at 14, just trying to put on a shield that would protect me in high school, that would keep people at a distance, but at the same time create a distorted version of respect and attention, which is exactly what I got. And it only lasts for so long. I went to college, just continued the same cycle, and then I got into the service industry after I dropped out of college, which is just another long party. So it wasn't until consequences and pain just built up by the age of 25, 26, I'm 41 now, where I decided to get sober and got away from the people that were not going to help me, and checked myself into a halfway house and decided to just bury myself in books and seek how to live, to bend the knee to life itself, to learn. And so I did. And after many, many books and then experiences of just trying new things, I volunteered as a literacy tutor, and that led to, within a few years after getting sober, the universe opened itself up and said, here is your calling. Help these young men. You know what they're feeling. Help them. So I did. But I realized that I saw them 2 hours a day, and they had to go back out into their homes and into their neighborhoods where people don't want to see success. They want you. Misery loves company, and to tear you down and to test you. Oh, you're walking it straight now? No. They're going to put you to the test. And this is built for them and their memories. Not going to cry, but I have shed many tears for those boys who wanted it so bad, and it was just taken from them, not by choice, but by their environment and just unfairness. And so the arena itself, let's get to that and let's just wrap it up. What is your money for? What is this truly about? Initiation. Why did every single tribe across the globe have initiation? Cultures, religion, all that stuff. Because it's the hardest threshold for us to cross, is from childhood into adulthood. It's why you think mental illness all sets in during that time, because that threshold needs to be crossed. Responsibility needs to be bared. The experiences must take place that allow the body to know what it needs to know to walk through fear, to face the challenge and unfairness and cruelty of life. I mean, some rituals were vicious. And that's not what I'm not talking about building a place like that. I'm talking about building a sacred place with all of the mythology and symbolism built into it. Beauty. Where the F is beauty these days? Bought and sold. Or you got to travel deep into the wilderness somewhere. And that was another sad thing. I realized a lot of kids in some neighborhoods and poor kids were never, ever going to get the chance to see the beauty of the world. The awe that inspires. It is awe that can move us forward. And in order to become a man, you must be in the company of men, or at least a man. There's no other way. Wisdom is learned through experience. Our wisdom must catch up to the ridiculous technology. I can't imagine what it's like to be a kid today. I'm in a unique generation, people of my age, where I was a teenager when the internet began being widely used. And now I'm here 10 years away from like a fully automated world, pretty much. And that is another reason for all of this, is we've got tech companies basically using our own animal brain against us. We are animals. We cannot and will never be transhuman. Our consciousness is throughout our body. We have no idea. Science can't touch consciousness. It never will. So that idea is ridiculous. We need to have our wisdom catch up with technology so that, again, it's always been about how you use the tool. I've now realized that the AI chat generators have really, really helped me, because I love to dig as deep as I possibly can into my beliefs and to see if I know what the F I'm talking about. And it really helps do that. It's how you use it, every single tool at our disposal. And that's what we will teach. The arena is an enclosed structure. You can see pictures of it there. You can email me. This is not just about donations. I need as much money as possible. And the initial money will go to build a portable arena that I can set up in parks. Peace Circles was something I facilitated with these young men, and I intend to do it with as many people in Chicago. I live in Chicago. I hate the city. I'm getting too old for it. I love nature. But I want my son to grow up in the city because I want him to get all of the culture and meet people from all over the world and the experience that only a city can provide, the education a city can provide for a young person. So, a beautiful place with the symbols that remind us of all the stories that were shared. A field house dedicated to play any kind of sport anyone wants, inside or out. A theater for expression, to learn one's voice. Kids these days can't even talk. A music and art studio for expression, essential. This is about a practical solution to a dire need. It is so simple, yet infinitely complex, yet so simple. Build a space, and again, think of it like this is not a dogma, a cult, any kind of that BS. It's like an alternative education, but there's a temporary stay. And I aim to make it scholarship based where almost no one has to pay. That is the end long goal, and that it can be sustained just like a university through donations of its alumni, basically. Not even I will be able to stay, or the staff, because it is not an escape. It is a crucible. It is a place of trials, to be tested, to walk through the shadows of oneself, but together, with a brotherhood waiting outside for you. Rituals that bond, games that bond. Why do you think war veterans come back home? And those are some of the men on this planet that I feel some of the deepest feelings, all kinds. There's just such a myriad mixture of things. But it has been reported so many times, and this is actually a big part of it. I want paintball. I want to reenact war with these young men safely. Safely. No one's going to get hurt. They might get a little hurt, and that's good. But no one will be in danger. But to create the feeling of danger. And I will close with this. This is the perfect way to summarize this essence, this return to the sacred ritual and initiation of manhood. We are beast in consciousness. This is our fight. Our greatest battle is not on the outside, it's on the inside. I actually can completely understand the transgender thing. We are masculine and feminine, all of us. We are this yin and yang, sun and earth trying to marry itself. And it fights, but it also dances. And it's about learning more to dance than to fight, this part inside of us. So now to that simple little story. We've all seen or heard a child play the game Monster, especially if you're a parent. A toddler wants not all, most want to play Monster. What's Monster? You know what it is. Chase me around, Daddy. Come get me, come on. Don't eat me, Daddy. That expression of excitement that captures all of it. Just a touch of fear. But they know they're safe. But they want to play that game. They want to feel that chase. You know why? Because it's older than story. It's older than time. It's older than before we do anything. It is predator versus prey. Before we had anything, we were prey. It's in us deeply. And that is what we long for, to feel alive. It's why veterans, again, I was alluding to earlier, come home of that feeling of not being able to fit into regular life, because there's nothing like I know it sounds horrible. I know it does, but it is at the truth. As men, we have a part of us that wants to go to war. We want to see what we're made of. We want to feel our power, our animal, our strength. And that's what this will provide, but safely contained in a way that teaches to respect it and contain it and treat it as part of yourself. Not something to be suppressed for the sake of society, but something to be embodied, to be a guardian of truth for your own children and the future. To pass down the wisdom so the chain doesn't break like it has. Wisdom is gone. Respect is gone and eroded. Arrogance, it just mistaken for confidence. It's just consumption. And nothing, because of there's no responsibility for what you say anymore. It's just a bunch of talking heads, and that is not what I will be. I want to meet people that know this, men, and I'm going to be reaching out to other groups and other nonprofits that are doing stuff like this, but I want to take it to the next level. It has to be experienced. It has to be more than just a couple days. It needs to be a couple months. You need to be immersed. And then you can come back and be a mentor yourself. And the chain can carry on and on and on. And we can build these places all over. and I hope that they're built for women too. I would love to help, once I get it established for young men, to help women get it established for young ladies. But we all know too, a world with better men is a better world. A world with better women is a better world. A world with better people is a better world. It's not complicated. Here I am again at 20 minutes because I can't stop. The fire in me does not let me rest. I rest when I've given everything I can to this. And then I get up and do it again. So I'm going to go right now. Again, meet more people as Gabriel. When I wear the mask, I am Gabriel, the messenger of this place. So please join me. Email me. I need an army to build this place. Volunteers. If you don't have money and this calls to you, reach out to me. I need help in all kinds of ways that I'm sure you probably could. I have challenges in a lot of areas. I have zero social media presence by choice. And I want it that way to start this. That's intentional. It's intentional why I made these cards by hand and why I'm giving them to you by hand. And to finally finish this up, after I've given enough out to build the tent, the portable tent that I can now take into all the different lovely parks of Chicago and set up a portable sacred space, a tent walled in beauty, and hold peace circles, because peace circles are one of the most effective ways and rituals that can be done anywhere to express yourself, be heard, be seen, and hear others. You sit in a circle, the facilitator has a talking piece, poses a question, only the person with the talking piece can talk. You go around in a circle 1, 2, 3 times. And you don't even have to participate if you don't want to. You can just be an observer. It is true. It is as old as communication gets, and it is beautiful. And if it works with the hardest, the age group and the lost boys of this world that I worked with, if I could get those young men and like the young me, which I saw in them, getting the young me to talk the way that these young men eventually started to talk and open up their hearts, then it can open up the heart of anyone. Because there's nothing harder than the shell of a lost boy. And I know how to gently chip away at that. And I know there are other men out there too. And we're going to join forces. And we're going to do this. So help, reach out, and let's do something that really matters. That truly friggin' matters.